Guys, we're talking about some of my favorite stuff, which is superheroes. Probably wasted way too much time reading comic books. Just kidding, it's not a waste of time. Wasting a lot of money buying shirts, though. This is a Justice League shirt. Got Superman right there in the middle. It says "good" right there, in case you didn't know that these guys were good. But I have a question, because people seem to be hating on my boy Superman. So why do people hate on Superman? Go ahead, yell it out. He's so overpowered. Yeah. He's not that cool. Somebody at the first edition said that it's too basic. So I don't know what comic books they were reading. Maybe Superman was drinking a pumpkin latte all the time. But I actually believe that Superman is underrated. A lot of people don't like him. Maybe it's because a lot of his movies kind of suck, and for to be honest, a lot of them do. There's probably like 2, maybe 3 actual good ones, and like 6 or 7 kind of bad ones. But when it comes to Superman, I think he's underrated because I think he's different than any other superhero. He has no alter ego. He's not a billionaire who dresses up like a bat. He's not a high schooler who dresses up like a red and blue spider, which I've never seen a red and blue spider. He's just Superman. He's the opposite of those guys. He's an alien who dresses up like a human. Superman is his true identity. He doesn't have an alter ego. His alter ego is Clark Kent. Superman is who he really is. So Clark Kent is something he pretends to be. In some of the old movies, like he has glasses on. It's really hard to tell the difference between Clark Kent and Superman. With those glasses on, believe me, I think he does his hair a little bit different too. But it's really hard to tell because he acts so clumsy and weak. And it's kind of like Superman's way of just blending in with everybody else. This is why Superman dresses up like Clark Kent, is to be with the people. Be with the people he loves. So I think that actually is a great thing for us to learn today. Because Superman didn't become Superman. He wasn't bitten by a spider. His parents did die, but the whole planet kind of died. So that happened. But he chooses to be Superman, and he was born Superman. And he does dress up like Clark Kent to blend in. So unlike Superman, you do it to pretend and to fit in with everybody else. I think there's a lot of things we can learn from Superman today. So the first question is, what's your alter ego? There's another personality that you probably have that you don't always put on display. Or maybe you put on a fake persona to everyone else. So just do this for a second. We're going to be quiet. I know it's really hard. We're going to be quiet for like 10 seconds. And try to answer this question in your head. How do others see you? How do others see you? 8 more seconds. Just think about it. How do others see you? I think the answer to this question is super, super important. Like how you answered shows a lot about who you are. Did you answer and say, well, my friends say I'm kind, or my friends say I'm funny, or I'm fill in the blank? Or did you say, I play sports, or I play an instrument, or I'm really smart, or fill in the blank? I think a lot of times we try to answer that question the wrong way, because you are more than what others say about you. You are more than the things that you do on the outside. You're more than your hobbies. You're more than the things you're good at. You're more than the things that you're bad at. You're more than your failures. Your identity is something deeper inside. And for some of us, we only show one side of ourselves. And we're not comfortable showing 100%. Some of you guys might be doing really good. Like you're showing like 75% of your true self. But I would venture a guess that most of you guys are still hiding something from people. There's a part of you don't want others to see. But I think all of us can be like Superman. We're not going to have superpowers like blizzard breath and like heat vision and stuff. And Superman actually, we were talking about how he's overpowered. He actually used to be way more overpowered, like 20 or so years ago. You can look at some of the first 2 movies. Like he reverses the rotation of the Earth. And one of the weird superpowers that he has that I forgot to mention earlier is that he actually is weird. He has the power to like kiss someone and for them to forget stuff. It's kind of weird. Like Lois Lane finds out who he is and he just like kisses her and she's just like, oh, I wouldn't even know. It's kind of weird. But we actually all have superpowers too. So what are your superpowers? What are your superpowers? There's things that we have, unique gifts, unique talents, things that set us apart from other people. Maybe you're more artistic than certain people, or maybe you're more athletic than certain people. Maybe you're more scholastic than certain people. This guy over here just shook his head no to all three of those. Well, there's something, fill in the blank. There's something that you like to do or that you're good at that sets you apart a little bit. It makes you a little bit more unique. The question isn't what it is. The question is how do you use it? Because here's a bunch of superpowers. We have strength, flight, speed, energy projection, growth, telepathy, a bunch of cool stuff. I mean, which one would you guys choose if you could have any of these? Invisibility? Yeah, usually they hear invisibility or flight. Invisibility, hey, maybe you're just kind of a creeper and you want to poop on people. And then flight, you want to fly away. You want to get away from stuff. What's weird is that people assume that the power of flight also comes with the power of speed. What if you could only fly like as fast as you can walk? That'd be pretty lit. Like, I'll see you guys later! And you're just going really slow. But we actually have different superpowers inside of us. And it's not about what it is necessarily, it's how you use it. Because what separates a good guy from a bad guy? It's how they use their superpowers. The supervillains, they use it for themselves. So if you're using your gift for a selfish gain, to make you feel better than other people, you can fill in the blank, you can achieve all these things and say, I'm good at this, therefore I'm better than so-and-so. That is basically a supervillain. You are evil. So sometimes the only thing that separates villains from heroes is how they use their powers. And if we're looking at Superman as our example, we need to use them to help others. This is what I love so much about Superman. Because he doesn't necessarily have a secret identity. He puts on this alter ego. But what's your secret identity? What is it? There's something that you're hiding. There's something that you're afraid to let people know. Maybe the person that you are inside is actually more of who you are. Or maybe the person that you are on the outside is actually more than who you are. The goal is to be like 100% with your friends. And I know that it's hard. And I know that it's hard to be so transparent. But it's what we have to strive for. And we can't be afraid to change our identity too. You may have been born a certain way into a certain situation that made you kind of into a person you didn't want to be. It's okay to change. If you were on the internet at all last week, you probably saw this guy pop up all over the place. He decided to make a change in his life. Like you can go on Twitter or Instagram or anything without seeing his new album, seeing interviews with him. And a lot of people are skeptical. A lot of people are like, is this for real? Has he really changed? And so you kind of have to decide for yourself, but you shouldn't be afraid to change who you are. And people may accuse you of being a hypocrite, people may accuse you of faking it, but you can't be afraid to change. So I would say a good thing for you to do, following Superman's example, is to find yourself by looking to others. That's a strange thing. That Superman actually found out who he is by looking to the needs of others, not by looking at himself and his selfishness. And the same thing goes for you. If you want to find out who you really are, how do you treat people? What's on your mind? Do you care about the needs of others? I mean, look at Superman. Why does he choose to live with people? He's got a fortress of solitude. That thing is awesome. If I was Superman, I'd probably just live in that all the time. Like, it's pretty cool. He can't go to Krypton because he kind of blew up, so that's not his home anymore. His home isn't Smallville. He grew up there. But he chooses to live where? He chooses to live in Metropolis. Metropolis is where he belongs. Why? Because he loves the people there. He found his purpose there. He found his calling there. It's his home. He looks to the needs of others before his own. He doesn't have to live here. He's like the most powerful being on earth, but he chooses to. And that's what we need to do. look to the needs of others, and you'll find out who you really are. Peace out.